Start recording. All right, so what's going on, guys? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons. Just came from a horrific Ben 10 debate. Slightly traumatized. It's all good. But my guy Will is here. We had a discussion a while ago about Cosmic Armor's Superman and the narrative strength of that compared to the story of Superman and such. The conversation, I'm trying to recall it as best I can. I think it was peaceful for the most part. We agreed on a couple things, disagreed on a couple things, and I think we talked past each other on a couple things. So we're gonna flesh it all out here. And Will, I think you have a better memory of the conversation than I do, or at least like points of contention, all that. So why don't you refresh us? Let's go through it. We're gonna have a fun talk.
Okay, so the argument was base Superman, like the story of Superman versus Cosmic Armor Superman, and you said that you would like to have me on and talk about hyper narrative, hyper story, and that was pretty much it, honestly.
All right, sweet. So I guess I'll get my stance out the way. You had said something that the best way to put it, I simply agree with. It's something GB kind of swayed me on, which is Cosmic Armor Superman did impact the Overvoid at least in some way. GB, you'd agree with that, right? And I think Will does too.
Um, yeah, I mean, at bare minimum, you have to either say he impacted it or the original narrative of Superman, since he carries the DC narrative entirely, was affecting the Overvoid and would have like overpowered the Overvoid had it not been stopped by the Cosmic Armor.
Yeah. So, Will, you agree Cosmic Armor is at least scales somewhat to Overvoid, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, I all right. So I guess we'll go from there because we kind of agree on that. We can go to hyper narrative because a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I've actually carried the hyper story, my belief on it for a while. So a hyper story, to me, as it's defined, is part of a story. You take sections of the story, typically the action, whatnot, and like that's it. And then that's what you get. You have a part of the story or a rushed aspect of the story. Um, that's how I feel about Cosmic Armor Superman. I don't feel it is as strong as the full story of Superman, um, especially since it's like a hyper story and then it was kind of combined with uh, Jackass Super Ultraman. Um, I don't feel it scales to the full released story of Superman.
Great. Is it my turn to
Yeah, yeah,
to to
yeah, yeah.
go?
Go ahead, Wayne.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to the hyper story, I think a lot of people when they read Final Crisis that they actually misread it because the hyper story that the comic was talking about was the hyper story that the Overvoid put Cosmic Armor Superman and Mandrake in, since Cosmic Armor Superman is story personified.
I do believe it also said that he was his own hyper story, though. That's more so what I'm referencing.
Oh, I know the panel you're talking about. Can is it fine if I post it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Okay. Let me just find it real quick.
Tuck is handling my battles in text for me. Thank you. I thought I was very nice that last debate, but it is what it is. Omega, Tuck, y'all can talk with bro in battles. I don't care. Will's cool. I don't think I'll have an issue talking with Will. Right, let me
Oops, my
see.
bad. The screenshot is a bit wonky because
Yeah, it's a little
I
small.
went to
I can make it
DC.
bigger though. All good.
Yeah, I went to DC Infinite on my phone, so.
It's all good.
What the comic book is saying is that Mandrak, since he's the opposite of story, and the Overvoid is putting Superman in a hyper story. And then hold on, let me get the full panel because that screenshot was a bit wonky.
I'm inside a self-assembling hyper story. Yes. I can
Okay,
zoom in.
so it says. So it says I'm inside a self-assembling hyper story and it's trying its best to destroy me. What it's referring to is Mandrak and the Overvoid, since Cosmic Armor is all story, like personified.
Yeah, this is also the scan people try to use to downplay to like billion times star level.
Oh yeah, that's that gives me PTSD.
Yeah. I'm inside. Hold on. I think I have these scans too. Give me a sec. I'll see if I can pull up the one that I'm referencing. But that there also gets a bit weird for me too in saying it scales to the full story of Superman, because the full story of Superman is also like not about Mandrak, you know. It's
what the comic tells us is that the Cosmic Armor is all story, and they needed the full so basically the Cosmic Armor is piloted by the story of Superman while it's all story. So it's basically all story personified, piloted by the story of Superman.
So, and we can kind of transition to this point, because I'm not really disagreeing, like at least part of the story of Superman was used. I don't think I ever disagreed with that when we were commenting back and forth. I'm trying to figure out which server I have my Cosmic Armor in. Hold on, I have too many fucking servers. I think at bare minimum it was implied in that story that like the full story of Superman would have been more problematic for the Overvoid. On top of this, like we know in recent comics, the story of Superman is the greatest power, like fully unleashed. So I think like the biggest, I guess, change I would say for that is like I I think at best the Cosmic Armor contained part of it, or you can even say contained the story of Superman, but it was not the fully unleashed story of Superman, which is stronger to me. That makes sense.
Yeah, I understand your point, but that is where I disagree because the monitors when they sent, or when Captain Allen actually sent Superman and Ultraman up, let me just get the scan real quick because it's easier to explain it like that. I'm gonna post the full scan and then I'm gonna post the second part of my argument. Like it's the same scan, but if everyone wants to see like the full scan, like I'll post two of them.
I'm also
So
I
this is
found
the
my
full
Cosmic
scan.
Session, so I'm pulling up some stuff too.
So the reason why it is the full powers of the story of Superman is because he says I fused symmetries, which is duality. And duality, you need the concept of good and evil, and to complete the full concept of good and evil, you need Superman and Ultraman, which is why Ultraman was required.
Yeah, so we can consider that too. I disagree with that, meaning like Ultraman is the opposite to the story of Superman, because it was recently stated in Action Comics that that's Doomsday, not Ultraman. Which kind of makes sense.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Just I want to add this part. Which would make more sense to me about the hyper story. I'm reading through.
I'm just gonna take the current session since you ducked me.
What the hell is this? Is this the Ben 10 guy?
Who's that? Who was that?
That was the Ben
Is this the Ben 10 guy?
No, I got rid of him. He banned him, and then he got pissed and went on his ult. It's whatever.
He said He said you ducked him when he didn't even understand the DC cosmology. But okay.
Yeah, it was crazy when he said he had evidence since November 9th. To prove.
Yeah, you should have showed him. You should have showed him the one scan of the Orrery of Worlds where it says like every fiction is in the Orrery of Worlds and they all have their own separate continuity and narratives, which is
he had already walked himself into so many holes. I was like,
I think he's a lost cause. He thinks wikis are evidence. He's just a lost cause.
Oh God.
There's also something else I want to talk about, like the super, and I can post this scan. Give me a sec. Let me go to this version. I'll post in battles. So the story of Superman itself wouldn't be contained to a living story. That would not be the case, or driven by one. As we know it functions currently in DC.
Oh wait, hold on.
I'm also looking for my other.
Oh yeah, can I also explain what I was talking about before?
Yeah. Go for it.
So with Ultraman, what I meant to say was he Superman himself in his base doesn't really have the full access to the story of Superman because, like I said, Ultraman was required to pilot the Thought Robot, which is all story. And Captain Allen even says it. He says, "The monitors see us as germs, the most despised. Hate crime, meet selfless act." And then he fuses them and he says, "I fuse symmetries." He needed the full concept of Superman, which is good, and Ultraman, which is, the opposite, to pilot the Thought Robot.
Yeah, I would just disagree that would complete the story of Superman, like adding Ultraman. I don't think that makes sense as how the story of Superman, at least as we currently understand it, functions. Hold on, I'm trying to also get you scans while we're talking. Yeah, so he's stuck in a self-assembling hyperstory, which again, that shouldn't even be able to stop the story of Superman. Where's?
I mean, it didn't. At the end, Cosmic Armor Superman did beat Mandrake.
Yeah, unfortunately, couldn't put him down for good, and it was more like Mandrake just fell.
Well, Cosmic Armor Superman did show him mercy by writing "to be continued" on the tombstone, which means story to be continued. And then when Mandrake returns in the unexpected, which is different canon, by the way, which is a different Mandrake, that was basically like DCU's version of Mandrake, while Mandrake in Final Crisis is like exterior the art.
I also don't.
Oh wait, hello.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, my bad.
So what is like the point of this? Is this like a cosmic armor scales to current Superman, or I don't understand
I think he believes Cosmic Armor Superman is stronger than the story of Superman, which I disagree with.
Yeah, that's basically what I believe.
The problem with scaling cosmic armor above current Superman story is mainly the fact that cosmic armor Superman was used to battle an entity that would be far below Source and Great Evil Darkness, whereas current Superman, his willpower alone, like not even just his story, just like his willpower was used to fight against the Great Evil Darkness. So it's like saying classic Superman like cosmic armor scales to current Superman like a fraction of current Superman is like a slippery slope.
I understand what you mean, but Nishitani, I think the Source is not above the Overvoid. Neither is the Great Darkness.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because the Overvoid is non-dual. There's only one. And the Final Crisis storyline doesn't even take place within DCU. It takes place outside.
Well, an issue with that is there's realms of dualities that are transcended, and we have like realms that exist beyond dualities, so the non-dual argument is kind of null.
Well, no, what I meant by that is that had to pilot the Thought Robot, because the Thought Robot's all story. It's all story versus Mandrak, which is the opposite. Mandrak consumes narrative. Like, story itself is like no match for Mandrak. That's why he was like beating the crap out of the cosmic armor.
Yeah, but the problem is like you're saying that like it's non-dual as if the Source wouldn't be non-dual.
Non-dual means there's only one.
Yeah.
Everything else below it is lower emanations.
Yeah, but why would that why would the Source being non-dual or the Overvoid being non-dual put it above the Source?
Like, because the presence? Source is just a lower emanation of the Overvoid.
I disagree.
Yeah,
that's not what the comic or Grant Morrison says.
Grant Morrison has stated multiple times, like, and other writers have too, that the Source, Overvoid, and all these other things are just different ways to say presence anyway.
Yeah, it is, but the Source is like the Ein Sof Or of the Overvoid, so basically that's what Grant Morrison was saying. Grant Morrison even said that the Source was the Ein Sof Or.
That's
DC.
also tricky because I just interviewed the current Superman writer and someone who's more current working on DC than Grant. And
current DCU is it's a new canon compared to Final Crisis. That's like old.
Well, that's what I said. It's a slippery slope. You're comparing an old canon to a current thing. Like currently, and like if you not even currently, if you're going by like the last 20 years of comics alone, there's many more instances of the Overvoid and the Great Darkness being compared to one another, or the Source being compared to one another. As a matter of fact, in Dark Crisis, when they show the Overvoid as it is, the Great Darkness screams, and when the Great Darkness screams, that's what creates the crack that would form the narrative of the DC multiverse. It wouldn't actually be like some random imperfection. It was actually the Great Darkness that screamed that created the multiverse. So that even that aspect of the cosmic armor story is completely changed in a modern comic. And that would actually be the Overvoid, which would actually be the Source, the light, the presence per se.
No, that's simply not true. Because I understand what you're saying. You're saying that current DC retconned older DC. In a sense, that is true, but the problem with this is that where Final Crisis takes place, it doesn't take place within the DC universe. It takes place outside creation itself.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine, but you realize that what I'm talking about.
And even the crack in the Overvoid, I know what you're talking about. The one in the Dark Crisis series where it says the light screamed or the darkness screamed when light was born. But the thing about that is that was all, honestly, that was just a retelling of Pariah's story of the dark of the great evil beast, or Great Darkness, and at the end, if you continue the comic book, you actually find out that Pariah is actually lying and he's like a lunatic, like he needs a straitjacket because he actually, he was misleading everyone.
You're connecting two different parts of like Pariah's character. That the story that was being told had nothing to do with what the actuality of what was happening. Like
Dr. Light was explaining it.
That's fine. But what Dr. Light was explaining,
Dr. Light was misled by Pariah.
What Dr. Light was explaining about Pariah simply had to do with him being possessed by the Great Darkness. That had
right, but the Great Darkness didn't exist.
The story about the multiverse being created through the screaming of the Great Darkness, that was never disproven at all throughout the entirety of Dark Crisis. That was literally just presented to us as a fact. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody. The story about the Great Darkness screaming and creating the multiverse was never disproven in that comic. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody try to say that.
It was though, because Swamp Thing even says when he's interacting with the Great Darkness that this is weird. This is not the Great Darkness. And then later on, even Nightwing and all of them are calling Pariah crazy for believing in the Great Darkness. And we all know the power of belief in DC is one of the strongest things. And
it's actually
the current Great Darkness.
Swamp Thing.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point real quick. When the new Great Darkness is just a figment of Pariah's imagination. It's not the older Great Darkness, because even Swamp Thing and everyone else says it's crazy, that it's not true.
No, Swamp Thing says that what's wrong with the Great Darkness is that the Great Darkness doesn't influence humans like they think it does. The humans influence the Great Darkness. That's what he was saying.
Listen, the Great Darkness currently...
Constantine himself literally gets pulled into the Great Darkness, and they have the same conversation, which leads Constantine to discover the same thing that Swamp Thing had discovered on his own. It's just that Constantine had a direct conversation with the Great Darkness. And at the end of the comic, they say that Pariah was only using a fraction of the Great Darkness's power. He actually wasn't directly connected to it, and that was his hallucination. That was his insanity. Nothing else besides that was disproven.
That's okay, so even if that is true, which I disagree with, because I think the comics blatantly tell us that Pariah was just crazy, but this is still a different continuity. This is a different canon compared to Final Crisis.
It's the canon that goes over the entire existence of DC as we know it.
That's simply not true, because everything was totally revised. It is not. I can show you Steve Orlando completely saying it.
Listen. It doesn't matter if it's revised.
Right, hold on. What's our question?
Go ahead. Tell him. Can you ask him, is current DCU a different a different canon compared to older DC, like Grant Morrison's work? I bet you he'll say yes.
That's fine.
Because he said it countless times, even in his interviews. Okay.
But that's hold on. Let me tell you why that's kind of crazy to argue. Hold on, GB. Let me say it. So, that's kind of a weird way to phrase it, because you could be like, oh, Classic Strange was a different time than current Marvel. Or you could say pre-Crisis was a different continuity than post-Crisis. Yes, it was. That's why we call it retcons.
They were revised.
That's what I was gonna. Okay. Look, let me explain it to you like this. One, DC as a publishing company has stated multiple times in the last 3 years that everything post-Rebirth would make everything in DC's continuity history canon. So it doesn't matter what a single writer says. It doesn't matter what a former single writer says. The publishing company itself has stated that everything is canon. It's up to us to make sense of the pieces that they give us at this point. What I can say from Dark Crisis is that, one, the story that you're referencing from Cosmic Armor Superman wasn't the only story in DC's history to take place beyond quote-unquote creation. Dark Crisis does that as well. And Dark Crisis has established a new narrative. That narrative would be that the great evil darkness is stronger than presence at the current time, or the source, or the overvoid. The overvoid, presence, and source are all the same thing. And at this point in time, when the great evil darkness is present in the multiverse, it's still stated that Superman's willpower is stronger than it. So with that being said, Superman's willpower would be above the overvoid, not scaling to it like cosmic armor. And that's just current canon.
That I simply disagree with. I do not agree with that because, like I said, Orlando, Scott Snyder, they all said that this, like, did you know that Grant Morrison and all these other writers went into a bar with him and told him, yes, create a different new canon, and that's what Scott Snyder did. Yeah, I could link you the video if you want it.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I don't care about it being a new canon. If it's a new canon, it takes precedence. That's fine. Like, it's... Yeah,
but everything is revised. That's what I'm saying. It's two different continuities. You cannot say that current continuity flows into past continuity. That simply just doesn't make sense because I don't have to say.
Okay, in current continuity, is the overvoid what the overvoid is? Is the overvoid the overvoid?
No, it's completely different in context.
What purpose does the overvoid serve in the old continuity versus the current continuity?
Old continuity overvoid is non-dual, which houses all of creation, including.
It does that now.
No, but the difference is that it includes literally everything. Because Earth 33.
Look.
Wait. Wait. Hold on. I didn't cut you off before. Let me finish my point. Earth 33 in the old continuity is protected by the fictive membrane, meaning no fictions can enter it, and we view everything. And Grant Morrison even said this himself, that the DC Orrery of Worlds in his continuity contains every single fiction, including us. That's the difference between the overvoid from before and the overvoid from now. The overvoid now contains all of existence, but for current DC.
Right, and current DC is stated to be bigger than it's ever been.
For this canon, yeah.
No, that would be all canons, by what the publisher said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we go by the old continuity, with when Grant Morrison wrote it, it contains everything. So, I still don't see your point.
It still contains everything.
Past, present, and future.
Yes, obviously. That's how timelines are made.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that would be everything. Saying something like saying the old.
You're confusing. You're confusing what I'm saying. You're saying you're thinking I'm saying that the overvoid contains all of DC, which it does in current canon. Before, it contains everything that ever was, including Marvel, Star Wars, whatever the hell. Because that's how Grant Morrison viewed it.
I'm not. Yeah. That's fine, but I'm not getting into the semantics of DC contained Marvel and all this crap, because Grant Morrison's statement on that
the old continuity completely states it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The old continuity states that it contains Marvel in it.
It contains everything. Every continuity, every story. That was the point of Final Crisis.
Okay. Here's the problem, and me and Splash have gotten into arguments about this all the time. When something says, "Oh, it contains everything," you're talking about relativity. It contains everything relative to what it is. It doesn't. To say that it contains Marvel is pointless.
But that's not what Grant Morrison stated. He said the orrery of worlds is like you pour a soda and you see it sizzling, and every single world, every sizzle is everything that ever was. I'm gonna listen to Grant Morrison, not some Discord debater.
That's not our statement. He's saying literally the authors and editors said it.
Yeah. This is what
Grant Morrison is not saying what he's saying, though. That's what I'm saying.
Listen,
Grant Morrison does not own the property, my brother in Christ. He does not.
Because it's 15 years old, which is my point. Old continuity is not new continuity. That's literally it.
Okay,
I'll let you.
The old continuity. Look, I'm trying to be nice, bro. But at the end of the day,
all right, go. Explain your point.
Grant Morrison doesn't own DC. He's not the publisher of DC. Who has more right?
He's the one who.
It doesn't matter.
Because it's still old continuity.
Who has more power, the publisher or the writer?
I never said that. I'm saying old continuity.
Answer the question, because you're starting to get toxic. Just say who has more power, the publisher or the writer?
The writer.
The writer has more power than the publishing company?
Oh, wait, I guess the publisher, but what does that? What does that have to? Well, okay, what does that have to do with anything? Because the publisher and the editors released Grant Morrison's work.
The publishing company of DC, as it is, as it exists, stated everything is canon post Rebirth. Everything is canon. It doesn't matter.
I would like to see that. I would like to see that.
Writers, that's everywhere. You can Google that.
Just send me a scan, please.
All right, let me Google this.
Yo, what I missed? Sorry, I was getting my sandwich.
He wants me to get the like multiple statements and articles of like every DC thing being canon now.
Yeah, you can also just post my interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson. And like how properties work in DC.
Yeah.
Like, if I could make this argument, 92 Spectre I'm repping.
Okay, look, I understand what you guys are saying. What I'm saying though is that they both had different interpretations of their multiverse. Grant Morrison's is completely different from Scott Snyder's.
Okay, let me put it this way. Let's say you write for me, okay? You're my writer. Okay. I own the property, you're my writer. And you write this multiverse. It's multiverse. And I fire you or you move on to another publisher. And I take the work, get a new writer. I have them say it's bigger than it's ever been. It's bigger than the prior. And then we also say it like as a company. Even if you preferred the other one, the first one, even if you think it was better fleshed out or stronger or whatever, by virtue of those who actually own the property and who have the say so, them saying it's bigger does matter. Them showing, hey, all the Crisis, which would include Final Crisis, all of these are contained within here now, and it's infinite. That does matter. Retcons we can't ignore because we want to, or because we have like trust me, if we could, there's a lot of shit I'd be ignoring in comics, but it's what is canon.
Yeah, I understand your point. So basically, even with the plot holes and the different interpretations of everything, it doesn't matter. That's what you're saying, because it's all canon within this new cosmology.
Yeah, like we know for a fact every Crisis is canon. That was even the case up to New 52, which would contain Cosmic Armor Superman, and then that's just a fraction of the current cosmology. Cosmic Armor Superman will be a lot stronger today than he was then.
Yeah, and I understand what you mean, but I just believe that Kaz, or Cosmic Armor Superman, is the concept of all story. It doesn't matter what it is, past, present, future.
Here we go.
That's what Grant Morrison explained what Kaz was.
I posted it.
So even if everything's canon, Kaz is still the embodiment of story itself. Because Grant's cosmology and Overvoid is outside of even Earth 33 and us.
This might help you understand.
That's Grant's interpretation.
That's fine. That's fine. Like that can be the case. Superman is beyond story. The story of Superman
currently Superman has literally carried the story of DC itself. He's done that. It's been reiterated in the Doomsday Clock event that every aspect of the multiverse is just a branch off from Superman's story, a different decision made. So it's kind of also stating that scaling wise, you would just have a lot of characters that scale to one another. The only thing that differs from them is like the minor decisions they make, and that's the path they take, which create other universes.
And then,
but currently,
they also show in the current map the Mandrak event. That's just an aspect of the cosmology now.
Yeah, which is what I was saying before. It's completely revised. Like this Mandrak that was in the Unexpected is completely different from the one that was in Final Crisis.
But that would just be a reboot or a retcon. Like it's
a reboot because Grant Morrison's Mandrak takes place in his.
I don't care. Yeah, but I don't care about like something.
It doesn't matter what you care.
Of DC. No. It doesn't matter when you're telling me that, it takes place out of DC. It takes place out of DC. The entirety, most of Dark Crisis takes place out of DC. I don't care.
It's still within the DCU.
Where did
what are you talking about?
Okay. What do you think? Who published the book that Mandrak is in? Who published it?
DC. We're still back to this point.
Okay. So why do you keep telling me, hey, the story that had the Omniverse in it and the Source and the Overvoid, it takes place inside of DC. You see the same shit in the book you're talking about.
It's within DC. Because it's the different of interpretation, which I keep telling you, but you're not listening to me. You're just ignoring what I'm saying.
So you're telling me that even though the current story goes beyond DC's continuity, right, and shows everything beyond DC's continuity as a whole, doesn't count because
where does it show that at?
It literally shows it before the continuity even was birthed.
What? Show me that right now. Because what I'm saying is the interpretations are different.
I have to show you the same exact shit that was revised, that you stated yourself was revised.
It was revised. That's my point. It's not the same as the old cosmology. It's completely different. That's the thing you're not understanding.
I think this will just settle this.
Just because the Overvoid functions the same in both cosmologies, it doesn't mean they're the same, because the Overvoid in Grant Morrison's work is completely beyond even us.
That's arguably the most, like, I thought the last guy said stupid shit. That was crazy. Just because.
Well, you're not disproving it, so.
You just said they function
you the just same. Said, like, oh my god, bro! Like, what do you want me to do? If a blender's a blender, it's a blender.
Okay. You guys are not understanding what I'm saying. The Overvoid and Grant Morrison.
Let me tell you. Can I tell you what you?
Wait. Hold on. Can I?
I'm just gonna repeat what you said.
Okay. Go on. I know it sounded stupid. I just want to.
Just because they both function the exact same way doesn't mean they are the same. So what are we supposed to do with that, man?
Okay, can I explain what I'm trying to say?
For sure.
Okay. So, in rephrasing it, the Overvoid in DC contains everything for DC. The Overvoid in Final Crisis contains everything beyond even us.
No, that's not true.
Readers.
Actually, that's not true. The collector.
It is true. That's what Grant Morrison stated.
Yeah, the collector in current comics said literally the Overvoid contains all things.
Yeah, but even beyond the writer?
Yes, yeah.
And the author and the publications of DC, it exists completely beyond everything. Can you prove it to me, please?
Yeah, let me go get the collector comic. Let's see.
The fact that, like, it's just funny to me. Because the fact that, like, we're arguing, like, this all hinges on where our Earth is, real Earth is, like, as if Prime Earth still doesn't exist in modern continuity.
Yeah, but Grant Morrison explains hyper time and cube time.
Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Fuck Grant Morrison. How about that?
All right, it does. I don't care. You can not care about him. I don't care.
Everything you're saying doesn't matter because the DC publishers disagree. How about that? Talk to me about the publishing company of DC and what they say about it.
Well, like I said, it's a completely different canon, so.
Yeah, that the publishers of DC decided on.
Which is.
So they took like you don't understand the story. They took the story that you like, the story that you're dick writing right now. They took that shit and they said, "Yo, this shit's trash. We're gonna take this. We're gonna revise it," as you said, right? They still have Prime Earth, which, by the way, by definition in DC Comics is our Earth, where we exist in, right? Where Superboy is from. They took that. That still exists. We are still within the overvoid, as you would call it. It's all the same shit. It functions the exact same. It's the same exact thing. The only thing now is that cosmic armor doesn't matter, which is too bad.
He saved all story, though. That was the point of the comic book.
Hey, apparently that don't matter nowadays. Apparently Superman can do that in base. That's too bad.
But you guys never proved that he could do it in base.
Oh,
he just did it in base in Dark Crisis.
How? If he was contained, he couldn't even escape.
It literally says the most powerful thing in the multiverse is Superman's power. Keep in mind, at this point in the multiverse, the Great Darkness is present.
Shout out to Grant Morrison's multiversal map getting fucked on right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this trying to prove? Because
Base Superman's about to clap that.
Isn't this for the Great Darkness?
Yeah, the Great Darkness was overpowering that continuity that was established up until this point.
Yeah, this is Scott Snyder's continuity.
Is that Grant Morrison's map?
Yeah, they follow Grant Morrison's map. But it has completely different meaning.
It got stronger now. I agree with that.
This is like crazy. It's like this dude's acting like Grant Morrison is like the end all be all of all things DC related.
I never said that. I'm just saying that the continuity is different.
No,
like
shit,
there's so much plot holes.
No shit. But the point is, the same things, the things that you're talking about, function the exact same way. You keep saying, "Oh, the overvoid exists even beyond our world." It still does. Doesn't matter.
This is from Incarnate. Here's another example. Mandrake is literally just an aspect of the Great Darkness.
Well, this is Roxogama, but yeah, I understand.
I have more. I just gotta keep going back and forth between servers.
Because the whole aspect of the Great Darkness thing, again, this is Pariah's figment of imagination. This is his retelling of the Great Darkness.
Pariah's not narrating the whole story. The fuck are you talking about?
It's Dr. Light. She was misled by Pariah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Dr. Light speaks as a whole throughout the end of the story, you fucking idiot!
Oh my God.
She's not misled throughout the whole fucking story. The fuck are you talking about?
This is the beginning of the comic.
It doesn't matter. She's literally enlightened at the end of the story.
Oh my God, you're stupid. You are stupid. You're saying that it doesn't matter because this is the beginning.
Are you fucking retarded? Like you're actually an idiot. I can't take it anymore. The dumb shit you're saying. You literally have been hinging on this stupid ass fucking notion that because our world exists in Grant Morrison's overvoid, the overvoid is beyond all things, including Christianity and all religions. The fuck are you talking about, dumbass? That's still the quote of the day. The overvoid is the overvoid even till this day. Are you fucking stupid? Where the fuck do you even learn to read? You fucking actual moron. Been sitting here for 30 fucking minutes. I've been sitting here for 30 fucking minutes listening to you to say the stupid shit. Do you know where Earth Prime is, you fucking idiot?
Yeah, I do know where Earth Prime is.
So then you would fucking know that in the event of The One Who Laughs, Earth Prime still exists inside DC's continuity, which would mean that the overvoid today still exists outside of everything, even us. Just like what you've been saying for Grant Morrison's garbage ass fucking story. And guess what? The strongest thing in creation is Superman's willpower, which is a fraction of what used to take precedence in the story of Cosmic Armor. So a fraction of Superman today is stronger than cosmic armor was back then.
Chronicler, Rise of the New God. That's
all right, I understand your point. All right, so what's the Chronicler?
Yeah, no, he wanted proof of the Chronicler. I had to go get the scans.
That's crazy. Like, you gotta get proof because niggas just don't read shit. Like, that's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, but he did. I know he didn't read it, but
all right, it was my mistake. I misinterpreted.
Yes,
everything.
The Chronicler has studied all continuities, all stories, everything in fiction, nonfiction, whatever. And he says the story of Superman.
Yeah, he was sent from the Overvoid,
right? He chronicles the Overvoid.
Oh, all right. All right, it was my mistake then. Yeah, so DC's publishers, whatever. All right, I'll concede.
I literally have a more
Nishitani, like, no hate towards you. Like, it was probably like your brain boiling in a soup bowl. Like, I'm sorry.
It's all good. Nah, it's I was saying I had a current writer on that said he currently writes Superman that the story of Superman is stronger than ever. It's beyond story, all things like that.
Yeah.
Cosmos has actually gotten stronger since Grant's time, not weaker.
Okay. I'll concede the debate then.
It's all good. Yeah.
No hate to you guys or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think GB just got frustrated because a couple of
I understand. No. Yeah, and I understand.
Yeah, and all right, well, it's still infinitely a better discussion than the Ben 10 one. So, yeah, but that was dope.